and welcome to our how-to video on calculating a pond's excavation volume using free software. In this video we'll be looking at some different tools you can use to design your pond and then showing you how to use our free version of Kubla to calculate the cut volume of the pond that has multiple shelves. To draw your pond, you could do this in the traditional way with pen and paper or by using free software. What is key here in both methods is that you draw your pond to a scale. It is essential to decide your scale before you begin drawing. When drawing on graph or engineering paper, which you can download for free from spreadsheetpage.com, you should add your scale to the top of your page. Here you can see that this page has 1 inch squares, which are equivalent to 2 feet. You may have used CAD before or want to give it a go, and so wish to use this method. There are various free open source CAD products that you can download, for example LibreCAD. This allows you to create a scaled drawing, or alternatively you may wish to design your pond drawing in Inkscape or another free drawing product. Here are our CAD and hand-drawn designs saved as PDFs. We've focused on designing a garden pond with multiple shelves, with depths that are suitable for koi fish. The depths may depend on the requirements of your project or the suitability for different fish. For example, koi fish need a depth of between 3 to 6 feet. And a minimum depth of 1.5 feet reduces the chance of algae or your pond freezing. Once your 2D design is complete, then the question arises of how much excavation or cut are you going to need to do. I'm now going to show you one way to do this using the free version of Kubla. You can download Kubla for free from our website, which is www.kublasoftware.com. On the page you need to click on Products, Kubla Cubed, and then the free download button. You'll then be taken to a page where you can quickly enter your details. And then click the download button. So once downloaded and installed, we can open the software and begin our project. To begin with, we need to open our PDF plan in Kubla. So we head to the plan menu, add image or PDF file, and then find the file we wish to import. Now that it's imported, there are 2 things that are essential to check. The measure units, to make sure we are in the correct units. This project is in feet and cubic yards, so we don't need to change it here, but you can do so by changing these drop-down options. The second thing is to correctly scale your project. You can do this in 2 ways. If you have a ratio on your PDF, for example 1 inch equals 2 feet, you can type that scale. Or because the image doesn't have this information, we're going to scale it by measuring a known length, the scale bar. To adjust the scale, click Scale, then by Length, and draw the line along the scale bar. Left click to finish your line, then type the value of your known length, and then OK. And OK again at the top. Your plan is now correctly scaled and we're back in the main program. Hold down the letter M and move your mouse along the scale bar to check the measure matches the value on the bar. We can see here that it is now correct, and as we know that our large pond is about 25 feet across, we can also check there. So now we're ready to create our existing surface. On this plan we have values that show the existing elevation points or spot heights. So we could use those. However, if you haven't had a survey done, so you don't have elevation points, or your area is fairly flat, as is quite often in a garden, then you can also create a flat surface or a plane. So to create a plane, click the plus button on the right and then Feature Surface. We want to add an outline, so click the pencil and then define Fixed Level, which will give us a single fixed level surface. To draw my outline, I click the left mouse button, then move to the next point, and to finish I right click, add a value of 0 feet, because we are defining the pond's depth from that level. Doesn't matter what that level is. Click OK, and then we can see that we have our existing surface. So alternatively, if you have got elevation points or spot heights, then you can add those in, and I'll show you how to do that now. First I'll cancel that ground element and go back to the start. Click Add, Feature Surface, then outline. This time we're going to draw an outline with the extrapolate tool. This outline will take the elevations from within the outline. So it's worth having a survey of your land, if you haven't had one done already, to find out different levels and to show any undulations or a sloping surface, and you'll be able to define your surface more accurately. Click Finish, click Points, and then for each of these elevations we're going to add a point. So you click the pencil and then where your elevation is. So the first one, 17.5, 17.3, and the last one, 16.9. Finish and OK. And now we can see that we have a sloping surface. You can now check this in the 3D orbit view. And we can use the vertical exaggeration to see the change in the elevation on our surface. Okay, so going back to the 2D design, we can now start defining our pond. So we define our pond by going to the Proposed One tab, and this is where we start taking off the layers in our pond design. This pond has got 4 shelves, and so we want to show the depth of each shelf. And to do this, we're going to use the strip element. The strip element works by taking the existing ground level and dropping it down to the depth that you have set. So we're going to draw the outline for the first layer of our pond. This first layer or shelf is just 1.5 feet below the existing surface. Once we've drawn our outline, right click and then we can adjust the depth on the right. So I want to put in 1.5 feet here. It's automatically given us a side batter. So if I go into the 3D view, you'll see that we've got this side batter which shows us the slope or the gradient of the pond side. So if you don't want a slope, then you can turn the side batter off and it will be vertical. Or like myself, if you want a slope but with a steep gradient, then you can adjust it here. I'm going to set it to 1 to 0.3, so it's quite steep but not vertical. Then going back to the 2D design view, we can add our next strip. Okay, so the strip tool is a feature that accumulates the depth. So the first shelf was 1.5 and the next needs to be a total of 4.5 feet. So we need to calculate the difference between the two. This is something that you'll quickly get used to, but it means that instead of adding 4.5, which would create a depth of 6, we just need to add the difference between 4.5 and 1.5, which is 3 feet. Okay, so there's our second strip and we can change it to 3 feet and then adjust the side batter to 0.3. You can use your cursor to hover over the layers and it will show you the different values. To make sure that you've got the values that you need to see, go to Measure, then Cursor, and then tick the options that you want visible. Here we want the existing, proposed, and the total cut values. The first cut is 1.5 and the second 4.5 feet. You can also see that difference in depth and the side batters in the 3D view. So now we'll add the third strip. This one has a total depth of 6.5, so we just need to add a depth of 2 because that's the difference between 4.5 and 6.5. And again we change the side batter. And then our final strip, which gives us the greatest depth at 7.5 feet, so we just need to add 1 foot and then adjust the side batter. Okay, so there you go. As I said before, you can double check the strip levels are correct by hovering your cursor over each area, and the final cut you can see is 7.5. At the top left here, we can see that the total cut volume is 51.43 cubic yards. So just to double check that you're happy, go to the 3D view and make sure that your depths and side batters look as they should. In this view, you can then adjust the depths and the side batter by clicking on each individual strip. You'll be able to visually see those changes being made. So there you have it, a pond with 4 shelves and the total excavation volume calculated. This technique is great for comparing designs and projects, or to reduce the size or depth of your pond. Now that you know your total cut, you may realise that the cost to excavate is too high, and so you need to adjust your design. So we've calculated the cut volume in the free version of Kubla Cubed, but there are a few things that you may want to do which are only possible in Kubla Cubed Professional. For instance, you may want to look at the cross sections of your pond. So double click Measurements, Add, and then Cross Sections. Then draw a line across a section of the pond that you wish to view. Then click on View and you can see the different levels of the pond. The existing surface is in green and the proposed surface in pink. You can export a copy of the cross-section data as a spreadsheet or as a CAD file. Another useful tool when defining ponds is a platform which you can use to calculate the fill volume or capacity of your pond. If you're working on a larger commercial pond, then in the professional version you can use the contour feature surface to define your pond, and then create a third phase to calculate the fill capacity. Okay, so thank you so much for watching how to calculate pond excavation volumes using free software. Good luck with your pond designs, and if you have any questions, please add them below or get in touch with us on our forums.